Hello, driven woman. If we haven't met before, I am Nicole, creator of a business called The Deeply Satisfied Woman, and I am a women's leadership and empowerment coach. I work with amazing women all over the world to support them to live and lead and love on their terms, to create what I call a deeply satisfying life. That is the ability to generate the sort of results and successes that you want in your career or your business, while also experiencing authentic and real personal fulfillment and connection with people that are important to you. So there is one question that I get over and over again from driven women in all walks of life. And over the last 14 years, this is how I have helped driven women solve this problem. So if you are like so many of my clients, you might have thought to yourself before, how do I get more energy? I am so exhausted. Now, you are more than likely juggling a career that is important to you, alongside maybe a rich family life, and that being able to do all of these things at the same time, it's so easy to leave yourself behind. It's so easy to end up feeling depleted and exhausted and spread too thin. So let's climb in, and I want to share with you the three really important factors or elements that you need to be able to work with to create more energy, vitality, and aliveness in your life. And now the recipe is never identical for any two women. So I'm going to share about these three areas or elements, and one of them might be more important to you or for you than the others. And what you're going to need to do is tune in with yourself and do a bit of an experiment. You might need some of these factors or elements more than others. And by experimenting and having a go at balancing these different areas of life, you will be able to find the right recipe for you to have more aliveness, to feel more radiant and connected to yourself, to feel more in your vitality. So let's start with, if you imagine a triangle for me, the foundation of the triangle is always your inner self, your relationship to you. So this looks like your internal self-talk, your ability to have a supple, flexible nervous system and not be consistently in dysregulation. Lots of my particularly busy clients experience what I can only describe as really chronic stress. Now, stress and nervous system activation or arousal are not inherently bad. You are designed to be able to respond to challenging situations, and that is what your fight or flight system is for. But far too many people in our world are living in a chronic state of that nervous system arousal always being switched on, which creates chronic dysregulation, and like there's the circuitry of your system can become so fried from living in that place, which is inherently exhausting and depleting for your system. So that chronic stress, chronic dysregulation, and suppression of emotions. So many of the driven women that I work with are super smart, got big dreams that they're chasing, big stuff that they want to create, they're busy. And you've likely been rewarded, if you're anything like them, for your smarts, for your capacity, for your drive, for your ability to create cool stuff in the world. And those things are beautiful, don't get me wrong. Celebrate those. And also what you may have cultivated less of or been rewarded for less is your sensitivity. Your ability to feel your emotions in a constructive way and not just get stuck in anxiety when it arises, or stuck in fear, or stuck in anger and resentment and consternation when it arises. And so the ability to have your emotions rise, know how to let them move and let them go so you're not stuck in them, feeling your feelings in a constructive way is so conducive with you feeling more alive and vibrant, because you're not stuck in those things and you're also not repressing them because you're scared of them. All right, so that's the foundation of our pyramid. You've got your inner relationship with you. It's all about your nervous system, getting out of your head back into your body, being able to feel your feelings in a really constructive, self-loving way. Now we're moving on to our next area, and that is your physical self. So your physical body, how you feed and water. There's a funny meme that goes around on the internet, and I love it because it's a little true. And it says that we're basically just houseplants with more complex emotions. And it's a little flippant, but there's some real truth in, like, have you had some sunlight today? Have you had enough water? Have you fed yourself the right things? Have you slept enough? Oh my gosh, sleep is huge. If you are over 35 and you are tired and you are not yet treating sleep like an Olympic sport that you need to train for and get really great at, then you're missing a big puzzle piece. So sleep is huge for circadian rhythm and therefore hormonal balance, and that ties in with your stress levels and stress hormones as well. But how are you nourishing this physical body? Are you moving enough? Are you getting outside and getting fresh air, or are you just stuck at your desk all day and night and never getting any sunlight on your skin and eyes, and creating downtime and movement in your body? That stagnation is depleting and exhausting in and of itself. And then extensions of this physical body is your physical world. Are you tuning in with what your authentic capacity is, what your authentic limits are in different areas of your life, and then honoring those limits with clean, clear boundaries? Are you able to know what is right for you and what is wrong for you, and then not get trapped in overgiving, not listening to yourself and believing that story that everybody else's needs, or the business's needs and the employees' needs and the team's needs or your kids' needs, the house's needs are more important than yours? Now, this can be such a tender one, but over-functioning for women who are driven and high-achieving and ambitious is just so common. So inviting you to have a look with honesty there at your own patterns in that way, and whether you're leaking some energy through poor boundaries, over apologizing, and also wasting your focus and your capacity on things like scrolling, getting stuck on Netflix binges. Those things are fine from time to time. I'm all for a moderate amount of almost everything, but being able to recognize, is the rest that I'm giving myself actually restful, or is it just firing off more dopamine in my system and feeding anxiety potentially, which so much of our social media and those sorts of things can really contribute to. And then finally in this area is, can you experience and connect to and feel pleasure? Now these can be little pleasures, like I've got a beautiful chai in front of me and I can smell it, and it's so yummy. It can be the sun and like breeze on your skin, or it can be big pleasure like self-pleasure or lovemaking. And can you let yourself enjoy those things and feel your turn on for life? Feel your like, yes, I want this particular food, or I want to feel close to my husband, whatever it might be. That allowing yourself to experience your very life-affirming energy of your arousal and pleasure and enjoyment of life is energizing. And it's a place where lots of women have shut down. So lots of compassion here. We've talked about the base of the pyramid, the inner self, the next stage being the physical self, the physical body, the environment, how you're protecting your limits, your sensuality, how you're nourishing this beautiful system of yours. And then finally, the third side of the triangle is your outer self, or your leadership. It can be so easy for women to be one version of themselves when they're in private, and then they go back into their workplace and they feel like they need to perform. to be a certain way, to be a good leader, to please their staff. And this is an interesting one because when you've got a really big disconnect between the outer self, like who you present as in the world, and who you experience yourself to be in here, that gap is really tiring. So do you feel like you have to wear a mask when you go to work or go into your business or workspace? That's a beautiful piece to explore if you are running low on energy. How do you cope with setbacks? So when you're in the world and you're chasing that next income goal in your business, or you're putting another launch out there, like a product launch, or you're leading your team to new KPIs, whatever might be relevant for you, and it's not a success, how do you cope with that? Do you turn against yourself and talk down to yourself and attack yourself? Do you get stuck in rumination and being able to, like, going over every little detail and sort of torturing yourself with that? Or are you able to really lovingly review what might have gone wrong, forgive yourself for those things, and move forwards, learn from the lessons and take them into your next project? And finally, when you're out in the world and you are pursuing your results, are you pursuing the results and the goals that you want to achieve and create from a place of passion and self-love and like some healthy detachment? Or are you anxious and really identified with that result needing to come true, otherwise you're a failure, or some anxiety that's woven in there because of scarcity, or having early experiences, young experiences of like love and approval being tied to performance. So these things can really contribute to those young good girls, and so much compassion if this is you, and to the parts of us all that have some of this conditioning. But those young good girls become the high achieving women who chase success to feel belonging and love, and to know that they are enough. And that is really, really exhausting. So are you chasing your goals because you're genuinely passionate and excited, and that if you fail, you know that it's okay? Like, are you in this path, whatever you've chosen, for the long haul, and you're creating out of your joy and aliveness? Or are you sort of doing the grind and trying to achieve, to give yourself a sense of being good enough? So these three areas, the inner self, the physical self, and the outer self, are like three different dials. And you can experiment with, oh, how much of this one do I need? Or how much of this one do I need? But if you want some really quick wins, then I would be directing you to have a look at how you're caring for this physical body. So sleep and getting enough water, sleep hygiene, making sure that you're not blasting yourself with blue light at night, all the stuff that you hear all the time and you know, but you may not be doing if you're tired. Your boundaries, and then finally how dysregulated your nervous system is. So those are your low-hanging fruit or your quick wins, the stuff that you can move the needle on quickly. But there is a whole journey to go on here with creating a life that is more in alignment, that is true to you, and that is not draining you each and every day or week. So I hope this is helpful. If you are a woman who struggles with energy levels, I would love to hear below which of these three areas you're going to experiment with twiddling the dial on first to get you some more energy and aliveness. And I'll look forward to seeing you soon. Have a great day. Ciao.